right, Mason back again with Dig1115 Photoshop class. Project 3, typography, a little bit about the objectives. We're out to build some visual interest using typography. Learn a little bit about the principles of the information hierarchy. And again, principles on color and design and harmony, more design principles using the grid, so forth. Okay, we got some prereqs. Basically, we're trying to build your portfolio here, and this is a basic class. It's Dig1115. It's a fundamental class, but what we want to do here is build on your background knowledge of different basic art media, visual elements, principles of design, in conjunction with using Photoshop. So Photoshop with design. That's our graphics program here. So in the beginning, what we need you to do is do some study activities, basic fundamentals, and the background information on design. So combining typefaces and best practices for combining fonts and color again. And the Vignelli canon is a great read. Okay, and a little bit, you've got these assessments to do, and that proves to me that you've done the work. Okay, and then the synopsis is we're looking for, a typography project where you're using typefaces, color, and so forth, but it's about a theme. You can use anything you want, you're passionate about. Global warming, animal abuse, it's a topical issue of today's society. Again, it's a theme and subject. Everything has to come together and make sense. We want a message here. So you might want to review the guide to subject matter. Again, some more use on color. And again, there's also going feedback to the Gestalt principles and things that you've learned in project 1 and 2. So we're trying to create a message with this design. So you're going to use a number of elements to get one theme and manipulate all of these elements so that it intrigues the viewer and they understand what they're looking at. You can use lines, shapes, textures, patterns, all these things for background elements in your type, but the type is the crux of the project. Okay, so everything we've used and designed and studied up to so far, if you're looking for some ideas, you might look at the 7 deadly sins I've put in here before. All right, and you have a little bit of research to do, so you might want to look up some things about symbols and symbolism and what are some of the more common symbols you see today in visual culture. Are they communicative? Are they expressive? Okay, what's the relationship of the symbols that are around you? And these symbols that we have on the clothes, the computer, the things that we have in our car. So you have to look at all these objects, these visual objects in life, and try to make some sense and add these into the elements of your new design of, that you're going to add to your portfolio. So a little bit back on Gestalt. I keep adding that in there so you keep remembering all the different principles of Gestalt and the design things. And then we get into a little bit, you need to think about unity and variety. And again, you need to look at, striking the balance between unity and variety, because that's the trick here, is that if you have basically too much unity, it gets boring and repetitive. And if you have too much variety, it's chaotic and disconnected. So it confuses people and it makes them irritated. So here's a little bit on the design process. And you don't have to do it again, but I put this into the project description because I want you to be understanding that there is a process to the design, application. So what I'm trying to say here is that, when you're given a problem, you have to identify it, and then you have to start thinking out how you could problem solve this. So you identify criteria and constraints. You do some brainstorming. You might talk to some friends, generate some ideas, maybe go back and brainstorm some more, explore some different possibilities, talk to some of your friends, do some focus groups, select an approach. Okay, so these are added in all the different projects that I do, and it's a little bit germane, but I just wanted to make sure you understand that we really have to think out how we do this. We have to do some fundamental background, and research and so forth. So there's some technical standards, at least a 10 by 10. You can make it a poster size, 11 by 14 or 16 by 24, but make sure that your resolution is 300 ppi, pixels per inch is important. Color space is at least RGB at 8-bit. Keep your color scheme. A little bit of naming convention. That's a good thing to do when you work in different production houses. Okay, so this is the new stuff, is keep a copy for your records of the PSD. Okay, that's for your portfolio and defense if somebody challenges your work. What we need is a compressed PNG, okay? And you put those into the comments and feedback. The PSD, again, is for your archives, okay? The PNG, it needs to be sized down to 15%. And when you are finished with that, one copy goes into the discussion forums. I want you to put a few lines about the principles of what you did. After you submit it, then you go back and if you have a large class, I want you guys to give feedback to at least 5. But if there's a class and it's 10 to 15, I want you to comment on everybody. Okay, then you go back and you look to see, if you've made sure that you gave enough feedback. I keep an eye on those things. And right over here, there's a schedule of activities. So, you've got due dates. You got to keep up on your due dates. I keep them posted a couple different places right here on schedule of activities and due dates. Here's, of course, projects. So you found your way to this document, which is one we're going over right now. These are the 2 assessments. Here's another place that you can go into the discussion forum right here. And then this file right here is for my grading. You don't see this one. See, it's hidden from you. All right. Now, so you have to get that all done by 5 on the determined due date. And then if your classmates or myself feel that you need to still go back and do some work, we give you a second submission, okay, or revision. You have a date to do that. Usually it's within a few days to go back and redo it to improve your grade. And that's basically it. It's all about Photoshop and design.